Miroslav. I am in full redneck style because it's warm here. My farm mom, aka personal assistant, is unavailable for a few months, so now I have to do everything on my own. Um, this is a very big champagne problem. That's why I look like this all the fucking time, right? And how are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Yeah.
We had a specific subject that we wanted to talk about today.
Yes. Yes. So
Yes.
I will dive right in.
Yes.
I saw, and I wish I would have sent it to you. I could have sworn I did, and I guess I didn't. I spaced it.
You may have. You may have.
I might have sent it to myself. I don't know. If I find it, I find it. But there was a reel where this guy was from France, and he was visiting his sister. He had gone back to France, and he was visiting his sister for the summer. And
in America.
He was visiting. He lives in America. She's in France. He's from France.
She's in France.
Yeah. So he was there at her house for the summer, I guess, what he said. And he was getting ready to leave, right, and come back to the States. Now, he's from France, right? So they're all French, but he decides to move to the States, and he's coming back. Like, he had only gone to visit her, and now he's coming back. And he was telling her how excited he was to get back to the United States. He couldn't wait to come back. And she kind of was like, why though? Like, why America? It's and she was kind of critical and a bit like chiding about it. And he says, and so he starts to explain why he personally loves it. And so then he kind of just turns and says, okay, rather than explain my whole conversation with my sister, I'm just going to tell you why I look forward to the United States and why I love it so much and why I was so eager to get back and why I call it home. And he says he called it the country of yes. He called the United States the country of yes. And he says, I come here, I say I want to be an actor. Everybody's like, yeah, yes, do it. Do this, do that. And if they know somebody, they'll tell you, if they can get your foot in the door, they'll put you in touch with that person and they'll help you get there as best they can. If not, they'll just be really excited for you and wish you the best and check on you and say, okay, the next time they talk to you, they'll ask you, how's it going? Blah, 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 and you almost feel accountable for that. And he says, that's yes. I say the same thing in France and nobody takes me seriously. And they'll say, but seriously, like, what are you going to do for work?
Yeah, what's your backup plan?
Accountant, you're going to be, something practical. And it's not practical for you to try and be this thing. So it's almost dream dashing, right? Like, it's like you don't even get up off the ground before the moment you tell somebody anything, like you're this aspiration, they shoot it down, apparently, which is crazy. So, it was crazy to hear that because that's not something you think about in terms of culture, like, how people regard your dreams or how people regard your aspirations. You kind of just take for granted that people are generally supportive of that because there's nothing negative about that. Like it'd be different if you said, I want to rob banks for a living. Yeah, you might get some boos in the crowd. But like, if you're just saying like, I want to do this thing. I want to be a teacher. I want to be an aerobics instructor. I want to be an actress, whatever it is. People generally are pretty supportive in the United States about it. Like, you'll find a few,
sour apples.
Yeah, you will. But I think they're few and far between, and you could easily abandon them and find 10 more friends that are much, more supportive. So it's like finding a support group in the United States is, in terms of like positive things you want to do is really easy.
It's culturally ingrained.
Yeah, I think so. And it's easier here. Apparently, it's easier here than in Europe.
So,
France.
Well, obviously, as someone who has lived all over Europe, and by the way, and I'm very, very critical of people who kind of like, look, living abroad is good. And you will always be 1, 2, 3 layers removed if you don't speak the language. Right? So when people go like, hey, I've lived in Germany. I'm like, oh, you speak German? They're like, no. I'm like, eh. So you only got like a top layer of the flavor.
Right.
When you speak the language, you start getting into like the nuances of how culture works, like what's the norm, behavioral, just the energetic climate of language, and therefore of the culture. And for example, obviously UK has a tall poppy syndrome.
Right.
In the Netherlands, there's this phrase, just be normal. That's already like enough. That's crazy enough, right?
Just
So
normal.
whole Europe is ingrained in this, don't try to stand out. And then the different cultures and different nations have different reasoning for that.
Right.
But all of them are like, no, small dreams. And you can tell by the economy, you can tell by the entrepreneurship. Like entrepreneurship is one of the greatest ways to measure, right?
Sure.
And the majority of Europeans, and I'm using this as normally when I say Europeans, I mean West Europe, and now in this case mean the whole Europe. When you are doing well, for example, I bought a new BMW right when I started doing well, right? Like the amount of hate I get for getting a fancy car,
Yeah.
versus here in America, like strangers will root for you.
Yeah.
Like drive in your fancy car in America and people go like, oh my God, fuck yes, you know lit. Da, 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 da. Like there's an active celebration of what that fancy car represents.
100%. No, I was in an Uber and we were stopped at a stoplight and some construction, I don't know if they were construction guys or something, but they asked the Uber guy to roll his window down to compliment him on his car. I like your rims. It's really sharp. I love this. This look is really sleek. That was it. He's like, that's it. I just wanted to compliment your car and then carry on. And that was it. It was crazy. I mean, the bureaucracy. Now we have bureaucracy in the United States and we bitch about it, of course, because there's no amount that's okay. Like it's always going to be annoying.
None.
But to set up your business, your LLC takes about under 30 to 45 minutes to do so. You can set up your whole business in under 30 minutes in the United States if you just sit down and do it. 3 months in France is what this guy is saying. Same thing. I want to set up a business. It takes 3 months. I can only do it in person. They only work these obscure hours. Sometimes that person is sick. Sometimes that person has to go take care of family in Provence. They're off somewhere else. And it's just like, and he's just like, I can't get a hold of anybody. So again, this culture of no, like, it's just like, I can, but they're all the conditions, it's like.
So just to illustrate that specific point, when I went to register my LLC or the variant of that, right, in the Netherlands, I had one in Germany, Czech Republic, Netherlands, UK, Belgium. Am I missing any countries? No, I think that's all of them in Europe, at least. So in the Netherlands, just to get your LLC set up, meaning registered. So I had to wait. I think it was over 4 weeks. I think it might have been 6 weeks. But even to have it approved, as in I am an LLC, I had to show them my thought and like they call it like a business plan just to get an LLC. Because if they didn't deem your business plan worthy, you're not getting an LLC.
Yeah.
So you have these bureaucrats who have never built anything in their lives telling you, oh no, your business plan isn't good enough, so you cannot have an LLC.
Based on what we don't know. Like, certainly not based on any knowledge they have or experience they have, but yeah, they just decide no.
I don't like your face, no.
I don't like your face.
America, no, yeah. The culture, like, it kind of pisses me off when people say like the American dream is dead. Because the American dream is very much so alive. This is still, if you just look, and I made a post about it, I think 2 weeks ago, if you look at how many millionaires America created from scratch, it's disproportionate to the combined world, the rest of the world, right? Not compared to like one other country. Like America is so far beyond creating wealth success, and there's zero ceiling. Zero ceiling. There's no ceiling.
Trillionaire. First trillionaire comes out of the United States. Right.
Oh my fucking God. People don't understand how good. There's no ceiling to your success. And I remember when one of my American friends, they temporarily moved to Europe, West Europe, Germany. And he was like a high-end coder
Okay.
for one of the big apps, like a Tinder. It wasn't, but just to give you an idea, right? In America, he was making like 600K a year. So he then started looking for a job in Europe, and like he got like a high end job, and it paid like 100K a year, and like that was the ceiling, the end, the end. Like you will not get further than this. This is the end. American dream is forever alive because there's no ceiling and limit to your success.
Right.
Culturally, numerically, financially, there's no fucking ceiling.
Zero. Right. Which is insane for other countries to see. I think that's a weird experience that I totally took for granted. I just thought everybody, people, I mean, it's so weird because you hear other countries talk about themselves and like, of course we're a free country. And it's just like, but it's like, okay, but you kind of aren't. Like, you kind of saddle your people with like stuff that, a lot of extra weight for no reason, like I mean, it's like, like I was reading an article, and I'll have to find it, but there was an article about Scandinavia as well, where, everybody likes to talk about how happy they are. But when you talk to individual Scandinavians who know Americans and know about the United States a little bit, or have been here for a little while, and they go back, they don't have the same take on life. It's one thing to never have left Scandinavia, and you just hear about things. That's one thing. It's another if you've left and you've experienced something else, or you've heard stories from other people, and it's like, really, there's more to life than this? Because I guess there's a cultural thing, and every one of the countries has a different word for it. But it's essentially this thing of like, we're not going to focus on your individual accomplishments. That's frowned upon, right? We as a country can always celebrate ourselves. As a country, we can, but as individuals, we shouldn't be. What you have is enough. You have everything you need. And because you have everything you need, you should be happy with that, right? You have healthcare, you have an education, you have a roof over your head. It's not the fact that you live in a shoebox that's the size of a small apartment in the United States by US standards, or that you have to use public healthcare and you can't afford, private healthcare and pick your own doctor, or you can't, or that these are things that like they just know that the provision has been made for them, and therefore they're satisfied with that. And that satisfaction translates into happiness in their culture. Whereas the United States, you would find that as kind of a dissatisfaction,
And it's a disrespect. Like, this is the thing, right? And I don't want to dive too deep into like the fucking leftovers online, because I'm so over it. But,
yeah.
When the leftovers incorrectly use data as, oh, but Finland is so happy. Yeah, Finland also jokes about suicide, because suicide will be the only bliss they'll experience in life, right? So let's, we're not even going to go. We're just going to pause that.
Yeah.
But what people fail to take into consideration is the living standard, right? So like someone right now living in fucking Haiti, right, will, if you give them, I don't know, fucking a bottle of soda every day, they'll be fucking happy, right? Because the access to it, because life is just in general fucking shit and dirty.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, they'll be like, oh my God, look at us being so happy. And Americans will be like, well, their happiness level is so higher. Yeah, the standard of living is too.
Right.
When your standard of life is really low, the reach to happiness is very fucking small. You just need to be a little, you just need, when you're
anything is better.
Anything is better. Anything is like, we've all know, like, let's keep it, a dog that's been mistreated, right? And you give that dog a treat and a little pat on its head, like it will be the fucking happiest dog on the fucking planet.
100%.
Because its baseline is so fucking low that it's so ecstatic with breadcrumbs.
Right.
America is the country of a high baseline, and a high baseline creates an even higher probability and possibility of standard of living, success, wealth, dreams, drive, energy, possibility, options. The rest of the world doesn't have that.
Right. I mean, the idea of, it kind of melted my heart a little bit that there were Europeans who didn't understand the concept of free refills. Whereas like we sit here,
I still don't understand.
right?
Doggy
I'm
bag,
just like,
what, bringing your food away from the restaurant, not a thing in Europe. They just started doing that right now. Wasn't a
right,
thing, I don't know, 5 years ago.
right. Interesting. Yeah, it's but there's just certain things that we've just grown so accustomed to that it's just like, I mean, the idea, like, granted, I think in some cases it gets carried too far, but the idea that the customer is always right and the customer is constantly bringing new ideas on how to improve the situation, and they take that feedback and they're like, okay, then that's what we'll do.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do? And so they keep elevating and elevating and elevating a lot of things. I'm not saying it's perfect, and I'm not saying that we don't have like shitty customer service compared to other places. We might.
No. America has customer service. The rest of the world doesn't. Because what do you mean? You have opinions. Who the
Right.
fuck cares?
Yeah. I mean, I would say Japan would be an exception to that because
but this when we speak about like, so Japan, China, their own complete unique culture, economy that's not comparable to the modern West, right? We are comparing
Western, but from a Western perspective. Yeah. 100%. So it's like, I mean, the idea that, like your waitress is like friendly to you and like checks on you and brings, unlimited refills and like, I mean, this is all just like, I don't know how to process this, I mean, I can just imagine they're just sucking down sodas because they don't know what else to do. But it's like, I remember we were, there was somebody who had said, somebody brought this up and I had to go investigate it because I thought it was sussy as hell. They were talking about how a baseline Mercedes-Benz in Germany is considerably cheaper, and they have unions, and they pay their workers well, and they're far more equitable to the worker, etc. And I was like, oh, okay, well that's interesting. Let me go look into that. So the baseline Mercedes in Germany is not the same as the baseline entry-level Mercedes in the United States, not by a long shot. There are countless things that we get in the United States, like base level. This is no bells and whistles yet. We have still just only, this is like entry-level bullshit. Like, at least you can say you have a Mercedes, right? Like that level. That comes standard with things that do not come standard in Germany at all. So like we expect bigger cars. So our baseline Mercedes is bigger. Just the size of the car itself is just bigger than the baseline in Mercedes in Germany. The standard stuff like automatic windows and power steering and power brakes and that's all that stuff standard. Like there's just there's certain like amenities or like improvements.
The level of quality,
the
baseline in everything in America is higher.
It really is, and you don't realize that until you come from another country to see it.
And I'm still it's so funny because I get these waves of like where people from my past find me like on social media. And I get like people from whether it's Czech Republic, whether it's back from Poland, like whatever, or just the Netherlands, the UK, Belgium. And they're all like, oh yeah, it totally makes sense that you live in America. You were always too big for Europe. Not even they don't mention the country. You were always too big
the whole continent.
You were always too big for Europe.
You're too big for the whole continent.
It's and I always say like I'm still traumatized by like my husband makes so much fun of me, like it's not even fun. So we'll go anywhere. We're surrounded by Forest Service, beautiful like paradise looking nature, right? And I'll be like, can I bring my horse here? And he's like, the first time I asked it, he's like, what? And I'm like I was like confused if he didn't understand my question. I'm like, can I bring my horse here? He's like, yeah, well, you can just pull up with the trailer and go riding. I'm like, no, but like, where do I ask for a permit? So he started laughing hysterically. He's like, oh, my sweet European wife. This is America. Yeah. You don't need a permit to go fucking walk your large dog, aka horse here. You can just ride.
Just go ride the horse.
And I'm like, wait, are you? And that became the ongoing joke, right? Like, well, where we're somewhere in nature, I'm like, can I bring my horse here? He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I camp here overnight? Yeah. And you can camp here unless it's otherwise specified, right? No overnight camping, then not. But otherwise, yeah, you can just fucking stick your tent up. You can
But if
sleep
it's
here
no, it's just no. Like there's no permits or anything. It's just no. Then you just
I'm like,
don't do it. But yeah, like they are. I mean, and I get it. Like I get how like I get how that can be so like confounding because it's because of the cultural thing, right? It's not just conceptual, like it's not just the physical size of the United States, which some people are struck by initially, you know, how big it is and how long it takes to get, you know, like they're like, you know, I mean, I had a friend come in from Norway and she flew into Los Angeles and she was like, and we're like, oh, okay, how long are you gonna be here? She goes, well, you know, I was gonna be here for about a week and then I fly out of San Francisco. Or we're going to be here for 2 weeks and I'm going to fly out of San Francisco. And I said, you're going to fly out of where? San Francisco. I'm going to go back to Norway from San Francisco. I said, how are you getting to San Francisco? And she goes, isn't it just another airport? Like, isn't it just here? And I'm like, it's like here, but like it's 7 hours from here.
Hours. Yeah.
7 or 8 hour drive from here. She goes, what? And I said, yeah. She's like, isn't it in California still? And I said, yeah. Like it's still California. You're going to drive 8 hours. And if you drive like me, 7.5 hours, but 85 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour, you're still getting there in 7 hours, sweet pea. Like, I don't understand. How are you getting there?
You might fly there.
Are you flying? Are you taking like a little hopper, like a little Southwest, you know, thing, commuter flight? That's 40 at the time. I was like $49. You could do that. And she's like, no, I'm not doing that. I thought I was still staying with you guys. I was like, you thought that LA and San Francisco were just like, she's like, well, it looked really close on the map. And I was like, girl, I'm like, yeah, if you shrink it enough, I'm really close to New York too. But like, it's a 5-hour fucking flight. And I was like, what? So I ended up having to drive her up there. So I was like, okay, we'll take you up to San Francisco. We ended up staying with some of my friends and family up there and then dropped her off at the airport because, you know, I was like, okay, this is the San Francisco airport. Have a nice trip back to Norway, I guess. But it was so crazy. She didn't understand how big it was. And like, she started, you know, like,
I mean, it's one of my famous stories when I died almost in a tornado when I just moved to America and I'm road tripping. So I'm going to Zane's wedding. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to make it a 2-month road trip because YOLO. I ain't got, like, you know, I work remote. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm in my Ford Mustang with my red leather. Like, I am in America, baby. And I'm driving. So I live in Arizona. I'm doing New Mexico, Texas, Alabama, New Orleans, Louisiana, Georgia wedding, and then drive back through like the top of Texas. And the whole news and social media was filled with like warning, tornado happening in Texas. And I'm like, because I thought it was going to be so big. I had the opposite. I'm like, oh, it's so big here. I'll never deal with it. And then, I didn't realize that I was right in there because it said like it was like on the border of, and I'm like, I'm nowhere near the border, and then I was, and boom. That was my first confrontation with like, oh, size in America.
I don't get it. I don't know it.
I still, my husband jokes about this all the time. Because when I see a truck come by, like drive towards me, I still miscalculated speed. Because I'm still in European cars and kilometers, which don't translate.
No,
about feeling.
Right. Yeah. No, I get it.
It's I'm like, I'm not sure. It looks like he's driving way faster.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, I think the whole thing is just really hard for people to kind of wrap their heads around how big it is, like in many ways, like, you know, not just big, not just big in size, like in geography, but just big in ambition.
Big,
yes, everything is like
yes,
very big. Like we, and it's like, yes, we're also overweight, and we're also,
well, I'm wondering right now, however, like if that's not like the same in every Western country.
Oh, maybe to some degree, but I don't know. I think I don't think you're going to see that as much in like places like Scandinavia, but you would in like England.
Sure. No, for sure. Not in Scandinavia.
But you would in England and stuff. They're emulated. We're kind of closer in in cultural proximity, I guess.
And how fun is the conversation now that Europe has more death by heat by summer than America does gun violence in the whole year.
Right. That was crazy to hear too. Like I'm like,
God, I know, it's so fun. Like,
but
they're
that's because
dying.
they don't want AC. They're like they think it's this horrible thing, and I'm just like, okay, well, good luck living in Arizona without fucking AC. Like, get real.
And it's
like,
not even that hot. What are you talking about?
I don't understand how they're dying from it though. Like, are y'all in like 120 degrees in a car, or like what's happening out there? Because like I heard it doesn't really get much past 90.
Most cars don't have ACs. That's like a luxury feature. No, most cars don't have fan. Like I remember when I bought my Beamer in the Netherlands, like, oh, and it has AC, like was my go-to phrase.
Right.
Because most cars don't have AC.
That's bonkers. Oh my gosh. Every car
has
with that. See, like huh?
Even the old donkey cars have fucking AC.
The moment it came out, it became a fixture. Like the moment it came out, it was like, we're not even treating this like a luxury. This is just what we're doing.
Baseline.
Yeah. And it's just, I mean, there's just so many things that we just immediately adapt into and normalize. The next innovation becomes the norm, and that's the next level of standards. Like email just became a thing where, and then when emails came along, it was PDFs and stuff like that. So now we don't fuck the fax machine. We're just going straight to email, and then we do, now it's like, okay, I'm not even doing email. I'm just going to put it straight into the platform, and you'll just instantly have it on your side of the platform. And it's like the moment you come up with any efficiency,
innovation,
everybody expects it moving forward. Because that is, I mean, it doesn't take more than a few days for that to, spread to everyone else, because it's like, oh, well, that's an edge they have on me. They're more competitive now. They're faster than me. I can't have them be faster than me. I have to at least keep up, And so even when even in my industry, they were talking about how, do you want to be on Amazon and Walmart and Target, and do you want to be on their shopping site? Do you want to put your, because I was, at the time I was advertising cheese, and, the way in which, we approached that was, technically you're paying for advertising. Yes, that is technically an ad. However, in reality, it's more like virtual shelf space. So it would be like you weren't in the store. You didn't have your product on the shelf. You were only available online, right? Would you want to be that way? Would you only available in store or only available online? When you limit yourself that way, right, you've precluded certain purchases immediately. So now it's like, well, then this is a non-negotiable. We have to always be on their shelves virtually. We have to be on Amazon shelves. We have to be on Walmart.com shelves. And we have to be on Target.com shelves. We have to be on their shelf virtually as much as we have to be in the store. So they immediately integrated into that, because they're, because the United States is just one of those places where it's like the moment you find out your competitors doing it, then it's not, it's not even an option anymore. Like that's not like something you can look at and say, well, maybe next year, or we'll cut it out this quarter and we'll do it next quarter. No, I just have to do it now. It's almost like the baseline. It's no longer like this optional thing or this upgrade or this cool novel thing. It's just, no, I have to do it. I have to do it everywhere. And that's true of every standard that we have, though. Like, they tried for a little while, and I think some restaurants still do it. They tried to roll out, and this was like decades ago. They were like, you have to ask for water. We're not going to bring water automatically anymore because, we're trying to save water. And that they thought that would help. And I was like, water by doing this.
How very European.
So they were, yeah, they didn't ask. At first, they didn't even ask if you wanted water. Do you want anything to drink? And then you would say water, but they wouldn't even offer, can I bring you some water? It was just, they tried that for a little while, restaurants did. And then like a few restaurants held out and they were like, no, we're just going to bring it. We're just going to keep bringing it. And then, you know, they started getting more business just because, you know, they started doing well in large part just because they were the only holdouts that said, no, we're still just going to serve you the way we've been serving you. That we're just going to do that now. And it's like, and I feel like, you know, anybody who does that wins in the United States. Like anytime, you know, they try to make a collective decision to say, oh, we should all do this thing. The few holdouts that don't usually win, you know, like, because it's just like, all I have to do is wait for you guys to like, fuck off. If I can just wait long enough and hold the line long enough, I'll eat the cost at the outset. But in the end, it won't be anything. I'll more than make up for it on the other side, you know? But like, that's the United States. Like, you know, and so like somebody comes out here and is told yes, that comes with a lot because it's not just yes. It's like, yes, but once you're on this track, there's only going because you're going to want more. You're going to do this thing. You're going to feel really proud of yourself. And you're going to be like, oh, I got this. And you're like, yeah, but I could get this. Yeah, but I could push myself and do this. And nobody's there to tell you no. No one's going to say like, well, no, you can't do that. No, yes, you can. Yeah, you can. You can go more. You can.
I literally can.
Yeah, you
look. We can aside from America being the greatest nation in the world, superior in any and all measure, not by virtue of fucking headlines. Don't come at me, fucking y'all Euro poors. Don't come at me with y'all fucking free healthcare because y'all paying 60% income tax. I don't want to hear none of it. I know all the fucking rules. None of it. No, America is superior. The end line conclusion. Europe is for people with no or small dreams and goals in life. There's a very clear blueprint. This is how you live. This is what you do. This is the tiny reward you get. Basically, it's for infants.
Yeah.
America is for the fucking grown-up with big cojones, with fucking balls.
Yes.
We're like, I want to see how far I can push life. Because even the fucking trailer trash in America has bigger fucking balls than the highest fucking CEO in fucking Euro-poor land.
Euro-poors. Yeah, I think the ones that do come out here and who are really fascinated with the United States enjoy that. Like they love the thrill of it, you know, like they love the thrill of being
whoa.
Yeah.
I actually, you know, have a personality here without being shunned. People celebrate me over here. Oh my fucking God.
Well, I'm just normal. I'm just fucking normal. Like nobody thinks I'm bad. Nobody thinks I'm good. They just think, yeah, that's right. You should have some sort of ambition. You should be doing something, you know, like, and, you know, like it's not a big deal, but it's also not something that brings shame, you know, like for having like a little dream to do a thing. I mean, I think you're right. I think there's a lot of stuff in Europe that's so centrally planned. It's so centrally planned that it's like everybody is getting their little rations of, you know, this is your house, this is your food, this is your water, this is your clothes, this is your income, you know, here you go, here's your little portions. Yeah, and everybody gets their, you know, gets in line, gets their little portion. Yeah. And then
they think like a little fucking kid.
Yeah, and then they say thanks and they're really happy about it. You know, and then it's like what's kind of unfortunate is when you meet one of them, you know, and they're kind of like jaded towards the United States, and you come in with that big energy and they kind of think, wow, you're really greedy. You're really selfish. You're really, you know, consumed. You're like a materialist. You're a consumerist. You're all these things. And it's like, no, it's that I can. That's it. It's that I can. It's not that I'm consumed by it. You know, we've said this before. We'll say it again. If I lost everything, I don't lose myself. I just go scrub toilets till I can get it together again and pick right back up and go because the country says, yes, I can, right? because everything about this country says, yeah, you can get back up again. That's it. But there's people who think that there's a big difference between like your material wealth, like being your whole identity and driving who you are and your only purpose in life, versus that being something that's just like, I'm here and I can do it. I should try it. It's just that
don't look, but people don't like, they mistake that I can for either greed or like there's some kind of weird comparison, like keeping up with the Joneses. Like, no. I want and I've been saying it, so I will say this. I want a $40 million ranch because I fucking can. Because my grandma could not, right? My grandma got taken everything by the fucking commies that she built for her. And there was no one to tell the commies no. It was just taken. Mm-hmm. I want to experience what it is to have fucking 7. Well, we have 7 cars. Let's see. I want to experience how it is to have 12 cars just because I can.
Right. Just because you can. Like,
I'm already happy.
No, like, right.
It's not my potential happiness is not consumed or wrapped up in whether I reach that or not. We good already, baby.
That's right.
I want to see how far we can take it, though.
That's right. You find, it's like, and that's the United States is predicated on, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? Which nobody else really values the pursuit. Everybody else is just like wants the end product. And the United States is in constant pursuit. That is our cultural underpinning is the pursuit. So your pursuit of 12 cars is what you're about. And the joy of doing that. That's enough. That I get 12 cars or I don't get 12. Yeah, I get 12 cars. I only get to 11 cars. Fine. Then you only get to 11 cars. I have I want a $40 million ranch. Only got to a $25 million ranch. You know what, though? Fucking great journey, though. Best fucking ride. Best fucking ride. That's right. And it's like, that's the thing.
Don't exist. Like, so like the $40 million ranch that I'm looking at, it's 90,000. So 90,000 acres.
Nice.
That don't exist. That's larger than several countries.
I think it's bigger. Is that bigger than Latvia?
It's bigger than Latvia, Luxembourg, Belgium.
Luxembourg. My house is bigger than Luxembourg.
But the fact, like, these properties don't exist in Europe.
Right.
So if I end up with we're on 65 acres right now. If I end up with the 200 acres, we good, baby.
All set.
We good, baby.
Yeah, now we're just buying.
Oh, shit.
Houses?
Exactly.
We're just building it out, Now we're just doing shit to it, and we're doing fun shit on it. Yeah, that's it. But that's the pursuit. It's a never-ending journey of just pursuing this thing, And it's like, it's not the getting the thing. I mean, you get the thing that's good, but that's fleeting. It's that whole pursuit of like, oh, what am I going to do next? What's the next thing on my list of, fun shit to go after? And I think and I feel like it's that general, like, the crabs in a bucket type thing mentality. I feel like that's what it is. And, that's how I hear Europe.
And you can tell, how like the Europors, the first thing that they say is, but y'all fucking healthcare. Bitch, we ain't got to. Risk is not our biggest thing on our head.
Right.
We know that risk is part of life. We good. We're willing to do all the crazy shit regardless of the risk. I ain't not involving my life around potential risk.
Right.
Europe does that. Because what about your healthcare? Why the fuck would I worry about my fucking healthcare? I'm not planning to fucking break my leg fucking 10 times a year.
Right.
No, break my leg one time or not. Well, no. But what about if your biggest flex as a Europor is, but y'all healthcare? And then we're not even going to go into the taxes, right? Because you don't have free healthcare. You pay fucking 60%, 50%, 48%, 40%. You are not. You don't have free healthcare. Nor do you have excellent healthcare, because excellent healthcare only gets created in private industries and sectors.
Right.
So good luck with your fucking tumor, and now you have to wait for 12 months until someone's willing to fucking see you. Okay, boo. But at least you got free healthcare with your fucking 50% tax. Okay, Europor. We're up in this life thing, like, how far can we take it? And yeah.
Well, that's
by the way, go on.
Why would you brag about something that you didn't even accomplish? Like, what are you bragging about? Bitch, you didn't do that. You didn't do any of that.
Because it's Stockholm syndrome. Look how daddy governs me so well.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what it is like? And if you grew up hood, you will understand this. If you grew up hood, there's a type of pride that you take in how many beatings you can take.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a Stockholm syndrome. And I know, as no others, I've taken whips, belts, spoons, hangers, clothing. Like and again, there's a certain weird ass fucking masochistic pride. Like, I could take all of this, right? That's Europoor land. Look how much suffering I can take. But they don't see the suffering because it's Stockholm syndrome. But pride, and look how daddy is controlling me.
Yeah, but they're really proud of that. And it's like,
they're really proud of it.
You know, and it just seems so maladjusted, because it's just like, okay, but that means you don't know how to procure this yourself. Like, you have no idea how to go out and get a thing for yourself. You know, you have no idea how an economy actually works. Like, everything has been handed to you at a fixed price, and you're fine with that. And it's just like, you know, it's so funny because my mom had a client. She was in insurance. So she had like one of those high-end clients, that the CEO of a company, because she was doing commercial insurance. So like for Sanyo and stuff like that, like large corporations. And one of the CEOs of the company she insured was talking about, getting a policy to come to the United States for himself and, and his family. And she's like, oh, what brings you stateside? Are you coming into the office? I'm sure you have other partners out here, whatever. And he's like, no, I need to get a medical procedure done. And she's like, don't they do that in Japan? He goes, yeah. He's like, but I don't want to wait. And I can, and then it's like, well, I can go get a doctor out here. I can get a private doctor out here, but I could fly to the United States, get your best doctor, stay in a hotel.
Not a doctor that's overworked, tired of life, tired of dealing with everyone's like, oh my God, I have a headache. Please, can I get a fucking aspirin, daddy? No, like a top of the fucking top notch. That is the fucking Ferrari of its fucking industry.
Right.
You can go. You can be like, hey, I got the money, motherfucker. Let's fucking go. And he'll be like, oh, I got the drive and the knowledge.
I got the table.
Yeah.
When are you available?
And we doing.
Yeah. I can squeeze you in tomorrow. Can you get here tomorrow? Because I'll do it. And it's like, so like, and then, they'll pay for it. So he says, I'll pay for it. I can get it. And I can get it better and I can get it faster than I can where I am. So it's like, I mean, it's like the rich do that. People from Canada come down here in the same way the United States goes to Mexico to pay for, just because, we go there because it's cheaper. Yeah.
But so this is the thing, right? So Czech Republic, Turkey has a whole medical industry just targeted at Americans.
That makes sense.
Because you can.
Yeah. Because we'll do
it. Locals use it.
Yeah.
But people will fly in, so they just have to be a little bit under fucking American value price. Let's fucking go.
Yep.
So even the rest of the world is enjoying the private sector and the mentality of drive and success and quality, and building a whole industries on that.
Right. Nobody going to Mexico on medical tourism is billing it to their insurance. They're literally paying out of pocket. But at the end of the day, it's cheaper, and they're getting good doctors. They're paying out of pocket. And these doctors are just like, holy shit, you're just willing to pay for it? And it's like, yeah, that's kind of how we roll. We just buy shit we need. Mm-hmm. Because we're not taxed for it. We have to pay for Medicare and Medicaid and all that crap. But but it's not nearly what Europe does. It's not even remotely close to what Europe does, and that would break our economy if we had to do that now, But
it's so I fucking hate the Netherlands for this specifically. Like, as a business owner, you're being taxed up the fucking vagina so much. You pay over 50-60% income tax. You're required to have monthly health insurance. If you don't have health insurance, you'll get fined for not having health insurance. And the healthcare is absolute fucking shit.
Wow. Which is crazy because it's like they're so worried about their food and their water quality and their air quality, but then they don't worry about like their medical quality. And it's just like, okay.
Medical quality doesn't, no, collective movements don't create quality.
No.
They create the idea and the illusion of quality. But actual capitalism or individual thriving mindsets is what create quality.
Right. Right. The mere fact that there are multiple competing ideas.
Choice.
Right. Having a choice will ultimately generate a better quality outcome in the end. Yeah. Yep. I think that's, but I feel like that's the thing is like we say yes in large part because we want the next best thing. Like the United States will say yes to things in large part because of that. Like
going to Mars. Yes. Going to the moon again. Okay. Yes.
Right. Whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah. We're testing this new shark fin based blah, blah, blah. Yes. Go do it. And the reason why we say yes is because we want it. And we know that when something starts in the United States, it's only a matter of time before the regular people just get it. And we get it at a pretty reasonable price.
And the shit that America gets for its capitalism, for its consumerism, then shut the fuck up. Stop using American products. Like, put your fucking money where your mouth is. Don't buy Coca-Cola. Don't buy fucking hamburgers. Don't fucking anything American. Throw your fucking iPhone away. Throw your Samsung is technically, we could discuss where... But okay, right? But throw your PlayStation away. Throw your fucking laptop away. No, do your own fucking shit.
Yeah.
Where is it? Nowhere. Now, I've said Germans and Italian cars, they excel.
Yeah.
That's
so you can drive everywhere.
You can drive everywhere in your fucking fancy car. Fuck with
your
that.
fucking fancy car.
We good. The car won't even make it up my driveway because
you can't get gas.
Also that. No, yeah. So stop using, if you hate so much on America, stop using American products.
But at the same time, it's like, look, there are, like you said, I think there's definitely like a category of people that really love the United States because for what it is, like for better or for worse, like they look at it and they're like, everybody thinks that, America's this horrible place, but there are people who come here and they're just like, no, I'm okay with this. Like, I'm actually like, I'm fond of this monster called the United States, like I'm comfortable here. I don't feel alienated. I feel very much at home here, My
favorite monster called USA. That's the title of the podcast. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but like, but then there's people who are just like, they, like you said, all the negative things that they have about the United States. It's like, then you were meant to be an employee, right? Then be an employee. Don't be an entrepreneur. Be an employee. Work for.
If you're an employee and a follower, stay in fucking line. Don't talk to the grown-ups. This is a grown-up conversation.
Right. This is what happens when you don't have any restrictions on, this is closer to what it is to not have restrictions. Of course, the United States still complains about that, like we feel too restricted, like we still feel too restricted.
And we are compared to where we were founded on, right?
Correct. Yeah. But that's the thing, right? Is that it's like, it was freer than this. And people are hype on that. Like people are like, yeah, I want that. I want more of that. Take away these regulations, take away that administration, take away that agency, take away this, take away that tax, this tax. I don't care. Fine. We'll build our own roads. Fuck off. Like just
when people go like, but what about the roads? We will build them ourselves, motherfucker. I have the equipment here on my property. The fuck you talking about? Because I get to own that. As a private citizen, I get to own the machinery that builds roads.
Right. I can also, the people who build roads are private citizens themselves. You just hire them instead of going through the city. It's literally that simple. We just pool the money together and buy it. Like,
But what about them roads?
What about, what about a library? I'm like, donate it, bitch. Donate the fucking library. You think it's so important? Go donate one. Well, I don't have the money. Then who are you fucking asking?
Yeah.
Who are you talking to exactly? Because if you can't fucking do it, who are you asking? Me? My shit has books. I got my own fucking books. When I want it, I buy it.
Like the Gilded Age. I'm obsessed with the
Gilded Age. Right. I gotta watch that. I keep meaning.
No, I'm not even talking about the show. I'm just talking about the era.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like creating these typhoons, these fucking monster people who like they weren't like that. It's not even is that possible. It's just like I'm going so far beyond anything that is known to humanity. I'm going all fucking in. That's like knowing that gravity exists and you're like, no, I'm a fucking fly, motherfuckers. Like it's the Gilded Age is the epitome of fucking America. Mm-hmm. Aside from like the frontiermen, like the people who scouted America, right?
Similar principle.
Absolutely, it's in the genes. And then these people came here, and then they built empires, and they built libraries, they built schools, university leagues, like these Ivy Leagues thing. Those are all built by fucking people who had something to fucking say.
Yeah,
those are not community fucking government state daddy places.
No, they're all built by somebody who really had a vision on what it was to be a premier institution of something, Right. I think that's it. I think that there was just a lot more visionary, like there's a lot more of a visionary component to our culture. It was like they could look at a blank slate, they could look at an empty field, they can look at, anything and say, I can make something of this. I can do something with this and then go do it.
The fact that we have Vegas, like if you fly into Las Vegas, like Las Vegas is like the epitome of telling God, fuck you, we're living here. Like if you fly into Las Vegas, it's like a desert. It's just sand.
Yeah, there's nothing.
And then there's this huge fucking vibrant city. You don't have to like Las Vegas, but the fact that it's made possible.
Yeah.
America.
Well, I think 90% of Nevada is federal land. So like there's only like a small strip of actual Nevada that belongs to the state itself. So it's like it's sitting there and it's like, okay, we've got Las Vegas, we got Reno. That's what we got. And we're gonna fucking lean in and we're gonna go big on this thing. And they did. And they did. Like you're right. I mean, it's just in the middle of the fucking desert. Hollywood was supposed to be the competition to Broadway. It was a bunch of people who didn't like Broadway, and they were just like, you guys are too fucking snooty. I can't make it out here. You guys are just making it too hard. We'll go out and we'll start our own thing. And they started motion pictures out in fucking L.A., in Hollywood.
Fucking go, baby.
If you look at what Hollywood was, I mean, if you look at where Hollywood is, okay, it's in the San Fernando Valley. It's like, and around Hollywood, when I was coming up in the late 70s, my parents moved there in the early 70s. And my dad was already out there, in the 50s and 60s because he grew up, in his teen years and young adulthood was in LA. And he was out in the valley. There was nothing there. It was like there were no houses. It was just open fields of shit. Like, and then there was Hollywood. There was LA, the city. There was San Francisco, the city, and there was Hollywood. And that was kind of it. And he had some beach towns. And that was it. And he's like, now it's all sprawled out and like it's covered from soup to nuts. But it used to just be the cheapest place to live was the valley, right by Hollywood. It was just down the hill from Hollywood was the valley, and the valley was like just cheap suburb, hour commute to LA. That's where cops and teachers lived because it was cheap. It was like city servants lived there because that's what it was. Now it's like this whole big thing. And it's just like, if you look back on the history of how it all came together and how it developed, it's crazy because it's just like, fuck you, Broadway. That's what it was. It was just a bunch of people saying, go fuck yourself. We'll go do our own thing. We'll start something else. And then they got their motion pictures going and they started doing major studios started setting up because it was cheap.
America. Fuck you, Europe. We're gonna do
Yeah.
our own.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just like
dealing with the unknown is better than dealing with you. Go fuck yourself.
exactly, and I love that. I love
I
that.
love that.
That whole thing of just like I don't know what's out there. I have no fucking plan.
Feel better than whatever it is.
But
Bye.
it is, yeah, this ain't it. This ain't it. And the idea that there are people who are like encouraging this, right? And there are people who are like cheering me on, and there are people who are saying yes to that here, is sufficient for a lot of people to. That's enough. That's enough for them to just leave everything, right? And I mean that's no small thing, okay? The guy left France, like that's a big deal to leave, to leave your life in Europe and come to the United States is no small thing. And he did that, and it was all based on just this, yes, you can. If you want to, you can. And it was just, and he's just like, what do I do with all the extra time I'm not spending in a bureaucrat's office? What do I do when I'm not arguing with everybody trying to justify my ambition? Like, I guess I go work. I guess I just go work. And I do
happen, baby.
Yeah, you just go make it happen now. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess I go do that now. And it's like, I think a lot of Europeans are shocked. I think Canadians are even shocked by that, if I'm being honest. Because I feel like Canadians are kind of mini Europe. They're like,
Canada is so weird because it has a very rough climate, which usually creates very resilient people. And I think they use all their resilience up on the weather or some shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, daddy, like all my mental bandwidth is used up. Someone help.
Yeah. Someone please send help. Can you centrally plan the rest of my life because I just got through winter? Yeah. That's true. Like their warmest city is like our coldest. It's crazy. But yeah, I think that's it. I think, but I've actually heard Canadians come to the United States.
Oh,
and and they're shocked.
Mm-hmm.
They're shocked. They're just like, I've left Canada for Florida because look at, and they just a picture of them in the sky showing how it's sunny outside. It's like day 112 of sunny skies, and it's like, yeah, you're right. It is. And I can have a home. I can buy a house for my family because I can't in Canada. Like that too. But
there we go.
Yeah.
Once again, everyone, not only did we solve life, we concluded why Euro poor is Euro poor, why America is superior, why what was the phrase? Oh, my favorite monster called the United States, baby. Let's fucking go.
100%.
I can't believe we live in a time where we get to celebrate this unique celebration of the United States. In a few days, it's going to be July 4th. It's going to be fucking amazing. Like so now I'm going to talk about the Gilded Age, the show. In the show, they have a moment where the first building in New York is being lit up, electricity, light bulb, right? And like they get to witness that, right? And the director did such a great way because you see all their faces like lit up of these aristocrats, of these rich people, and they all realize like what a unique moment in time they are experiencing right now. And I feel like we are that with upcoming July 4th, where it's like we're such a unique time. We get to experience that, baby. Oh,
yeah.
Fuck it, let's go.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's do the thing. Let's do fun things.
Absolutely. Everyone, yeah, you can just do things. America's the epitome of you can just do things.
Yeah, the land of the just do things.
You can just do things. Everyone, rich and hydrated, demons and diamonds. Let's fucking go see y'all next week.